So, for the brand equity diagnosis, I chose two fashion labels, one being Cotton On and the other one being Reformation. The Reformation brand narrative is all about being sustainable and taking care of the environment. They are continually striving to be as ethical as possible and use recycled materials as much as they can. Cotton On is a big believer in their brand. They always express how they started local. Their first store was in Geelong and have now expanded globally. A few key strengths that I've found with the Reformation is that they go above and beyond sustainability expectations, which they communicate thoroughly to their consumers, which can increase brand loyalty. They track their environmental footprint, which can build a trustful relationship between consumers and the brand. They also publish their totals, which is how much water, energy, and pollution they have saved, rather than publishing their profits. They have a big following on social media, which can also increase brand identity. Over 3/4 of their management team are women. This can be empowering for some consumers and entice them to build a relationship with the brand. On their website, they explicitly say how they are still striving to improve everything they are doing. This effectively gives customers hope and encourages them to continue to shop with the brand. I've attached the link on the left there, which if you click on, you'll see all the sustainable practices that the Reformation use. A weakness that Cotton On has is that most products are based on mass production, which makes the products less aligned with the cultural demands in their target audience. This can also tarnish the brand's relationship with some customers, as it is not a very sustainable practice. So because I don't have a lot of time, I'm just going to talk about the most important aspects of the CBBE. So for Reformation, I think resonance was really important. They highly rely on brand loyalty because they're in a niche market, and many people return to the brand as a great experience for them by adding to their eco footprint and makes them feel like doing something good for the earth. They're very professional and organised with packaging and shipment, and their store is made out of all sustainable and recycled products. So I think this builds a very strong brand relationship with the consumer. So with Cotton On's image, a lot of people describe it as just Cotton On, which is easy, affordable, and basic. With their judgments, they do lack credibility, and they don't have a lot of brand loyalty. Upon investigation, no one gets excited when Cotton On is mentioned, because it is a basic label. However, a lot of people mention that it is improving. So in terms of being cross-cultural, Cotton On has two different websites, an Australian one and an international one, but is translated to the language of the country, and that is 19 different countries that they do have stores in. The Australian website is mainly trying to communicate Cotton On as a community and how they were a local brand and now have expanded. In contrast, the international website is mainly about their products and promoting their other brands such as Ruby Shoes and Supre. However, their brand logo is essentially the same in all countries, which shows strong brand identity. The Reformation isn't very cross-cultural. They only have one website which does not adapt prices for different countries. It is all in US dollar. This could deter people, which is not good for their brand image. So with differences, Cotton On has a much larger brand recognition. They have stores over 3 continents, whereas the Reformation only has 5 stores in the US and are largely an online presence which can be hard to identify. The Reformation's sole focus is producing sustainable clothing, whereas Cotton On's brand narrative expresses that being the largest global retailer in Australia, that they want to make a positive difference in the lives of everyone by touching them with just fashion. In similarities, both the brands have the same objective by giving back to their community, whether it be local or global. This is very important in both their narratives. They communicate to their consumers solely through social media and mainly on Instagram. They both have a big online presence and make an effort to respond to their consumers. I think that both brands are communicated successfully. With just visiting their websites and knowing a little information about each brand, it is clear right away what they are trying to communicate to the consumers. This is done in different ways for the brands. Although, as mentioned, they both have a large online presence, the Reformation really tries to convey how sustainable the product of the clothing is, as seen here in an Instagram post. Where Cotton On relies a lot on their brand identity of being the largest global retailer in Australia and having resonated with a lot of Australians by having a real life store, which is very vibrant and fun in their eyes. I would recommend for the Reformation to try to expand their brand identity on a global scale, doing so on platforms other than social media. I think billboards or print advertisements in other countries other than the US or even YouTube video ads would work really well for them to explain their narrative in a short snippet. This could then lead them to becoming much more globally recognisable, and then they could develop a cross-cultural presence in the industry too. For Cotton On, I feel like they tick the boxes in most ways to communicate their brand narrative, with furthermore improvements to their brand such as promoting their sustainability and ethicality and becoming more cross-cultural online by adapting their different websites to their countries they sell in. They can continue to expand globally and build relationships with consumers that may not be in their specific present target market.